So, welcome everyone to this very special reading event of excerpts from the dark and daring and cleverly comedic story that is The Bald Monkey. What we thought would happen tonight is you'll hear some excerpts, after which there'll be the opportunity for some chat and questions. But now, let me introduce the author.
Yes.
And so he was born in Dublin. I haven't finished yet. I've only just started. He was born in Dublin. He attended film school at University of Southern California and University of California in LA. That's not Lillhampton, that's Los Angeles. He worked for 30 years as a screenwriter and script doctor in LA, in Dublin and in London. For the last 14 years, he has lived on a narrowboat, cruising England's southeast waterways. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the undeniable Irishman and passionate Londoner that is Dickon Levin.
Well, thank you very much. That's quite an introduction.
Okay.
Okay.
Hang on a sec, sorry. I think I'm making this worse. Okay. So, well, over to the first excerpt.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to say something?
Yeah, just before I start, well, first of all, thank you everybody for showing up, and also thank you very much, Harry, at HMV for organising all of this. It's really, really appreciated. And of course, thank you very much to Craig David for carrying out our sound check at such short notice. So equally appreciated. Okay. Right. Well, where are we starting?
So I'll tell you. So the excerpt one. I don't have the page numbers here, David, so I hope you have. But this, I'll give you a hint. So this is the first excerpt. This involves the character Henry. Now he's a photographer, and at various points of a photographer's career, they may find themselves in the role of a wedding photographer. And indeed, here is an excerpt from a wedding job on which, as a favour, Henry's sister-in-law, Marion, is assisting him.
Right, okay, I found it. Right, and, okay, the lush front lawn, perfectly flat and mowed to exactly 3/4 of an inch, played host to the early arrivals. Gaggles of groom versus clutches of bride. The bridal cliques all looked like cast members from a royal wedding drama. The women dripping with diamonds, and the men donning the finest Savile Row suits. The groom's rabble, on the other hand, appeared to be straight from an Essex-based reality show. Shaved heads, necks so thick that none of them could quite drop their top shirt buttons, and blue trousers straining around sinewy calf muscles, all wearing their Rolexes slung low and held out for display purposes. They also, Marion noticed, to her amusement, appeared to have found a surplus of moccasins while suffering from a shortage of socks. She was about to comment as much to Henry when she noticed the back of a bulbous scalp nearby was tattooed with what appeared to be a perfect square. Marion raised the little cannon to her eye and zoomed in and saw that it was in fact a QR code. Again, she let out an amused snort and turned to share the moment with Henry, only to find herself alone. Henry had moved to a flock of the bride's guests and was charming them into a group shot of wide smiles and raised glasses. Marion turned back to the scalp with the intriguing square and, swapping her Canon for her iPhone, inched towards it. A zoom, a swish, and a series of cloud-based connections later, a link opened up to the wild, psychedelic world of Show Us Your Tats.
I've got a question about that already.
Okay.
Did you make that name up?
I did.
Show us your tats.
Okay.
It's good.
I thought you were going to say you found a place called it. I was going to get sued.
Oh, okay. We'll go on to the next excerpt now.
Okay.
Now, Dickon has had the privilege of knowing me for over 23 years, and I him 23 years. And so the next excerpt, I can imagine knowing Dickon is perhaps a cathartic release for him through his character, Sonia. So just to set the scene, the barman of their favourite hostelry, the Bald Monkey, pointlessly and repetitively asks the friends in the asks the group of friends, and in particular one of the friends, Derek, to desist from swearing. Reasons for which Sonia takes umbrage.
It's Des. Desmond.
Desmond, what did I say?
Derek.
Oh, sorry,
Okay.
Desmond. I have read the book.
Go back to school.
Go back to school, he said.
Oh, am I up?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it can be quite a sweary book, this, so I hope that's okay with everyone. So, yes, Michael's just told somebody to stop swearing because he's trying to reinvent the place as a family establishment. So, oh, for the love of God, Michael, Sonia finally snapped. What is it with you and this puritanical stance against the occasional rude word? And don't give us any of that tired old chestnut about this being a family establishment. I mean, take a look around you. How many children do you see here? How many inanely grinning mummies and daddies with their shit-stinking, kneeling babies and drooling, grubby toddlers do you see? None, Michael. None of any of the above. What you can see are lonely solo drinkers staring into their pints. The occasional assignation between couples, most of whom are meeting for the first time via some unsavoury app or another and are quite obviously married to other people. A few suits escaping from their office for a lunchtime swift half to get them through their miserable, meaningless day, and later several to sign off on the end of their miserable, meaningless day, while bracing themselves before having to get back home to their equally miserable, meaningless marriages. Let's face it, Michael, this is not a family establishment. This is an establishment to which people come in order to avoid their fucking families.
Don't pretend that doesn't relate to anybody in this room. But anyway, let's get down and dirty with Henry and Des.
Yeah, the storyline setup is that Henry is still mourning the wife, the death of his wife, when she was basically disappeared in a flood on their 10th wedding anniversary, and he's convinced that he can find her body in the sewers. Anyway, so I found it. It's okay, thank you. And Des is, who used to work in the sewer system, is his guide, taking him along to illegally explore the sewer. Right. So, after 20 or so feet, Henry came to an abrupt halt and flatly said, "Shit. Yeah, everywhere. No, I mean, look." Henry stepped to one side and Des to the other so he could look forward, and saw that just ahead of them, the tunnel was completely blocked by a fatberg. A solid mass of congealed cooking fat, mostly deposited by London's finest West End restaurants, combined with an assortment of detritus and debris that had made its way from the city's sink, baths and lavatories over the years. Feminine hygiene products, prophylactics, nappies, and a colossal amount of wet wipes. The plastic-based wet wipes, Des had once told Henry, were the worst culprits. They seemed to have a way of binding with the fat, making them nearly impossible to move or even break up. Often, They would also contain larger flotsam that had been washed down from the streets through storm drains and other entrances, such as items of clothing, teddy bears, even small pieces of fly-tipped furniture. Des once claimed that he had found a king-size mattress lodged in one with the fitted sheets still attached, but even Henry thought that was a bit of a stretch. Well, that's that then, Des sighed, sounding almost as disappointed and dejected as Henry felt. He patted Henry on the back, stiffly turned and, using his own pitiful torch, lumbered back towards the main tunnel. I'll get some shots, just for the record. Henry took out his camera and snapped off a few frames. As he clicked the shutter for the third shot, something in the beam of his headlight caught his attention. He took the camera away from his face and stared down at the bottom of the grey, glistening lump and saw protruding from the mass a lady's boot. He recognised it immediately, even with just the foot and ankle showing, as a knee-high boot with a Cuban heel, lambskin and made by Burberry. The exact same boot which Arabella had worn on the night of their 10th wedding anniversary. Not just the very same type of boot, the very same boot, Arabella's boot.
Well, we've come into the final excerpt of the book, and I thought I'd leave Dickon to give a little bit of a introduction to this.
Well, this is a scene in the pub, the Bald Monkey, and it's one of the scenes where you see the three main characters together, and the dynamic they have, and they're basically slightly ridiculing Henry because he in the pub is his sort of nemesis and neighbour who he dislikes intensely for many reasons, most of all because of his antisocial parking skills. And it's a bit sweary, so apologies again. Right. Bastard, Henry hissed. Bastard. Fucking bastard. For the first time in the evening, Des let out a chuckle. I'm going to go and talk to him. No, you ain't. Yes, I am. I'm going to go over there, and I'm going to give him a piece of my mind. No, you're not, Henry. I know it. Des knows it, and you know it. You're going to sit here, and you're going to stew, and you're going to drink, and you're going to complain and moan about your dastardly neighbour with the E-type jag. You hate, but secretly you love, admire, and let's face it, covet. Covet's a bit strong, don't you think? No, Henry, I do not think. Do you think, Des? Not one bit, Sonia. No, not one bit. The main reason you hate him so much is because you yearn for that car, and are convinced he doesn't deserve it. Well, he doesn't deserve it. It's just another investment for him. The only time he moves the poor thing is if he wants to show it off to one of his gullible clients or have it appraised. I mean, the man goes to the country every other week, and what does he do? Takes the bloody train. Maybe he's worried about the environment. Oh, don't be ridiculous. He's an advertising, for Christ's sake. So you admit it. I admit nothing. Well, there are many reasons to hate him, Sonia mused. He is, as you have many times pointed out, obnoxious, rude, disingenuous, arrogant, loud, and generally speaking, an outright arsehole. Yes, and occasionally he parks you in. Always. Often. Let's say often he parks you in. Often, as in at this moment. Indeed, as in at this moment. Which is why you intend to go over there and give him a piece of your mind, correct? Correct. Right after this drink. Right after that drink, dear Henry, you will have another drink, as shall I, as shall Des, and we will sit here and listen while you plan exactly what you want to say to your odious neighbour, and how you're going to say it. How you need to be firm and assertive, but don't want to come across as being rude, petty, or confrontational. So you need to be as polite as possible. I mean, you are neighbours after all. You wouldn't want to end up getting engaged in some sort of ongoing feud. Well, there is that. Yes, there is that. Which is why sometime into the fourth drink, you'll decide that perhaps the best course of action would be leave a note. Stick it on the car for the next time he uses it. Or, if you need him to move it immediately, pop it through the letterbox. Not a bad idea. It's a very good idea, Henry. You've had it many times. But you won't do that either, I might. No, you won't. You'll think about it when you're at home, peeking through the blinds to see if he's moved it of his own accord, peeping across at his house to see if he's still here or back in his country home. Then you'll have that awkward smile and little wave when you find that he is still here, happens to be looking out of his window at the same time, and you caught each other's gazes. At which point, as you always do, you'll wonder if that's a good opening for you to pop across the road and ask him if he wouldn't mind parking his car a little further back, just a few inches, so that you're not parked in. But again, you won't, because, well, it would just be a little awkward, wouldn't it? Is this all familiar, Henry? No? Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is very fucking familiar. And then, one day, you will need your car. I'll need it tomorrow. Well, there you are. So, what will you do? I'll have to go over there and talk to him. No, you won't. What will you do, Des? You'll send Drew. You'll send Drew. Johnny raised a glass and with a wink and a tongue clack, clinked it against Des's, while Des let out a belly laugh and gave Henry a hearty pat on the back. Shaking his head, Henry turned a sideways glare towards his abhorrent neighbour, Terry the ad man, and again hissed, "Bastard." Thank you.
Sound familiar, Dickon?
A little bit.
I mentioned that Dick and I have known each other for a long time, and when I started reading the book, I was somewhat distracted because I knew who Henry was. I knew who he'd based Henry on, or lots of facets of Henry. And but as we were reading that to me now, I thought, oh yeah, maybe that's a bit Dickon too. Full of good intent, though, but never ever rude. Never rude. The other thing that I thought of that reminded me of you was Henry is, and you can tell me if I've got this right, Henry is, well, your fascination with photography and your enthusiasm and some expertise in photography.
Yeah. It's and he am I still on this thing? Yeah. He's very into analog photography and using proper film and developing his negatives, and I used to do that a lot when I was a kid, I suppose.
Yeah. And the other thing was his superstitions.
I have no superstitions.
Dickon and I have sat in restaurants and I've lost the plot with him when he's chucked salt over whichever shoulder it's supposed to be chucked over without even looking who's behind him. How many times have I lost it?
Too many to count.
Infuriated. Well, Henry has the same habit. What else is there?
There's a scene where it's when he first meets Marion, it's a flashback to when they first meet in a Soho pub, and he's wearing his shirt inside out. Because if you put your shirt on accidentally inside out, it's a lucky thing, but if you turn it the other way around, you lose that luck.
Thank you for reminding me.
I'm telling you.
I just had to let that go and enjoy the book. I did find it a real page turner. Tell us about Sonia, aka Groucho.
Oh, right, because
and how you developed this character.
I came up with that. I mean, most of these things come up with things you see. I can tell you exactly what I was doing. I was at South Kent Tube Station, waiting for that fellow over there, Paul. And by the way, a lot of people compliment on what a great cover the Paul Monkey has. And I told them, yes, you can judge a book by its cover. And Paul over there is the artist who was responsible for this. I was on my way to meet Paul, waiting outside the station because I was a bit early, as I tend to be. And there was this woman standing there, very tall, wearing a black three-piece suit. And she was big mop of blonde hair and these thick glasses and rather an impressive schnoz. And I thought she looks just like a female version of Groucho Marx. And actually, that was it. That just
And that stayed with you.
that stayed with me until I got down the writing list.
And is that a little bit about how you work? Do you collect data?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Always.
Has anybody who may or may not have read the book, has anyone got any questions for Dickon? Hello, MJ.
Hi there. How long has it taken you to write?
How long has it taken you to write the book?
This took me, I think this took me about 18 months in the end, about 18 months. But I'm working on another one now, and I've been at that for well over 18 months. And I think I'm at least another 6 months away from it. So between a year to 2 years, I would say, for me. But,
Would you have a routine, a writing routine?
I try to. I tend to work much better in the morning, and I tend to aim to try and, when I'm in full writing mode, to aim for 1,500 words a day, and I use a stopwatch a lot, so I'll set it for an hour, and then just concentrate on the document, and then reset it again. To do that 2 or 3 times a day, and that usually works for me. Yeah.
Are you able to disclose your model for the father of the bride?
Did anyone hear that? Is Dickon able to disclose the model for the father of the bride?
Yeah. Probably not, actually.
Correct answer.
I think I'll have to leave that one, guessing for that one.
That gets you to prison.
Yeah, I might be, yes, might be, yeah. Yeah.
Hello.
And do you because you often hear that writers sort of collate information in books and so forth on their phone. Do you do that, or is it just something that you keep in your mind?
Always carry this. Yeah.
And is that the best way?
For me, it is. Yeah, I do. I know a lot of people now just use their phones and the notes, but I hate those chiming into keyboards. So, and I like to actually write it down.
And does that help to remember as well? Yeah. Thank you.
A lot. Plus, then I can just sit and every week, couple of weeks, I do a notebook day where I just go through it and correlate stuff on the book.
Thank you.
On the computer.
So do you create a straw man for the story before you really set about writing it, so you know when you fill in the gaps, or do you make it up as you're going along?
No, I think they say there are 2 types of writers. There are planners and there are divers. So either they just dive straight in. I'm very much a planner. I plan everything out. Not to a minute degree. Like I've seen some people spend a year just plotting the book. But I get the ending. Well, I start off at the beginning, then get the ending, then the middle, and kind of fill in the rest.
And is it all straightforward, or do you find yourself going back on what you've already done?
If I get stuck, sometimes I go back to fix something. Yeah.
So your book is described as a dark comedy. What is it, do you think, that attracts us to sort of darker sides of humour? What is it?
Watching the news. I think gallows humour is quite important.
And how do you make sure that, I mean, like characters like Sonia and Drew, they've got they're really sort of dark sides, these flaws in their characters, but how do you make sure that you maintain their emotional sincerity and truth and depth, whilst kind of sacrificing it to this comedic sort of, objective?
I think actually you kind of use the right word there in the question, which is sincerity, because they come across as being sincere in their beliefs and what they're doing. So that's probably
believable.
Yeah, well, I hope so.
Yeah.
I had a thank you for asking that interesting question. It's prompted me to share my thoughts on that. I'm a psychotherapist and a behaviour therapist. I work a lot with psychologists, and I'm through my experience and reading, I firmly believe that we're all capable of being an arsehole and all have this dark side that Jung refers to. The stuff we see in other people that we like to project on other people, but actually it's the stuff that we may have, that we hate about ourselves, that we can't bear to own. And I think the sincerity is in that we are all capable of what happens in this book. And we have different levels of urge to restrain or to laugh about it or fantasize about it or dare to speak it. And some people do it. So that prompted me to remember that thought.
I mean, that's yeah, I agree with all of that. And it is hugely cathartic when you write something like that.
Yeah.
MJ. So would you call it a light read?
Actually, yeah, I think it is.
A holiday novel.
It's a light read and a holiday novel. That sounds great. Summer reading.
Into autumn.
Has anybody had the chance to read it yet? I was just interested. Yeah.
I just
Half
want to
the way
say,
through.
if it's very intricately detailed in everything, the wording is very, very interesting. It's quite verbose, and also I like the way that you remind us, you know, when you go back to chapters, who is who, and that is really clever, very clever. Because, you know, as you go through the story, the chapters are so different and too very, very detailed. The Office one, I can't remember now because it was a long time ago. The Office chapter was very good, but you reminded us all the way through who was who, and I found that really helped me.
Yeah, the Office chapter was in a market research company, and
The office jobs.
the events that happened in that, they were real. That was pretty, yeah. And interestingly enough, well, he over there was at the job at the same time as me, but our supervisor was here earlier on. And he brought 2 copies. So,
And he is still a supervisor. There we are. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you so much, Dickon.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Helen. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Thank you.